Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the series The Road to Oklahoma City 2016, presented by Tees Foam and Terrain and all that. Well, another week's gone by, not as busy as last week, I must admit, but it has been busy all the same, and I have made some progress, which is really good. Now, as I have for the last 3 episodes, I thought that it was only right to start off again the session or the episode with something that's inspired me, basically, that I've read this week, that kind of is adding to my knowledge and the flavour of the game that I'm trying to get into the game. So I was reading, or I have been reading over the course of a couple of years, this book, which is great, Forgotten Voices of the Victoria Cross. And if you've ever seen it on the bookshelves and thought this would be quite good, it is, and I particularly like it because being dyslexic myself, reading a book this thick would really be a huge challenge for me, something that I probably wouldn't do. But the nice thing is that basically within each, basically it's broken up into sections depending on the conflict, and it starts from the First World War and goes through, and basically you get a little summary of the person that won the Victoria Cross. You get the citation generally of what they won it for, and then accounts from various others who were there at the time about what happened, and it's great because you can just read a little bit. You can read about one particular person. You can read other people's kind of viewpoints of the incident, and then you're done. You know, you can close up and put it away. So it's a great book for sitting on the toilet and reading. I mean, this is cracking for that, and I'm sure you didn't want to know that. But anyway, it's great. It's a great read, and so I thought today I would share with you about one Victoria Cross winner from the 1940 sort of Belgium-France campaign. There was actually only 5 Victoria Crosses won in 1940 in Belgium and France by British military personnel. And the one that I've picked to read to you today is a chap called Second Lieutenant Richard Anand. I think I pronounced that correctly, and there's a very nice picture of him. Okay. And I will just very quickly read you his citation. He's Second Lieutenant in the 2nd Battalion, Durham Light Infantry. And he... So I'll just read it for you. The first Victoria Crosses of the Second World War went to officers of the Royal Navy for gallantry during the Norwegian campaign in April and May of 1940. The RAF's first VCs were awarded posthumously to the 2-man crew of a ferry, I think that's right, ferry battle aircraft for an attack on the Albert Canal in Belgium on the 12th of May. The first army action of the war to result in the award of a Victoria Cross was performed also in Belgium by Lieutenant Richard Anand on the 15th 16th of May, shortly after the Germans launched their assault on the Low Countries and France. Anand was in position with his platoon on a bank of the River Dyle, east of Brussels, when German troops arrived on the opposite side and attempted to send a party to repair a blown bridge. His citation reads, Second Lieutenant Anand attacked this party, but when ammunition ran out, he went forward himself over open ground with total disregard for enemy mortar and machine gun fire. Reaching the top of the bridge, he drove out the party below, inflicting over 20 casualties with hand grenades. Having been wounded, he rejoined his platoon, had his wound dressed, and then carried on in command. During the evening, another attack was launched, and again Second Lieutenant Anand went forward with hand grenades and inflicted heavy casualties on the enemy. When the order to withdraw was received, he withdrew with his platoon, but learning on the way back that his batman was wounded and had been left behind, he returned at once to the former position and brought him back in a wheelbarrow. before losing consciousness as the result of wounds. Now, I don't know about you, just listening to that, I can see that being played on a tabletop. That would be just great. You're officer running forward, throwing hand grenades down, bringing his Batman back in a wheelbarrow. Then that's just great. And so I really enjoyed reading about him this week, and hopefully that's kind of gonna add a little bit of inspiration when I'm particularly the bridge, and I quite like that bridge part. I could just imagine that on my stone bridge, so maybe that will get put in there in the game when I'm playing. But anyway, so that is my inspiration for this week. So last week we didn't have a lot of progress on the town hall or the bridge. This week we have. So let's take a look at the town hall first. Let's go. Okay, so we have the French town hall. Now, as you obviously can probably see, we have our roof. Now, let me tell you, that roof was quite some work, only because I don't really like tiling, and I decided while I was doing some tiling that I would take a quick short clip of me doing some tiling, and so here it is. So I'm currently at the stage of tiling the roof for my town hall. It's definitely not the part that I enjoy the most. In fact, it's probably the part I enjoy the least. Tiling, although is very simple to do, just seems to take forever. So we're going to do a quick cameras down. I'll show you what I've got, and hopefully, just a quick glance, and then we'll go back to me in the studio to finish this review of this week's action. So here we go, cameras down. Okay, so here we have the front of the town hall. As I say, there's not a lot of difference between this and what you saw the other day, other than the fact that the roof now has these kind of sections of wall which I talked about, and I tried to put a bit of detail on the straight edge parts. So that, oh, that's popped out. Right, there we go. That goes back on there like so. And then we've got the roof, which is going to sit on there, and I'm actually going to glue that on so that it's not flying around. But that is it. That's what it's looking like so far. And hopefully by the end, hopefully by the review, you'll see a different image. But that's a little bit of work in progress at the moment for you guys to kind of see the transformation. Anyway, back over to me in the studio. So that was me tiling. That was a tough little session, but I got it all done. It's all tiled up, but all the sides of the roof, and I got the rest of the roof finished off. So that'll be painted black with as an undercoat and grey on top, and then probably some weathering as well. I didn't get to the rooms. I must admit, I know last week I mentioned that I was going to get all the rooms painted, and I might push on to stippling, but probably not. I'm now starting to realise, as I should have previously, I do it all the time, but I have big aspirations of what I'm going to get done, and then actually time and reality kicks in and I don't get nearly as much done as I want. But I mean, that's good for these episodes because that means you're going to have lots to see. So anyway, so this is the town hall. I've kind of been chopping and changing between this and the bridge. I was doing the roof, and then moved on to the bridge and didn't get time to go back. So probably this week coming, I will attempt to get all the rooms painted, because then I can get to a position where I can start gluing things together, start stippling, which should be a little bit easier and quicker. So that's the plan for this week on the French town hall. So now for the moment you've been waiting for, the stone bridge. Let's see how far we've got this week with that. Okay, so we have the stone bridge. Now, I didn't get as much painted as I would have liked. I mentioned in last week's episode that it was just going to be a couple of hours one evening and I'd have this thing painted. Well, let me tell you now, I completely underestimated how much time it would take to paint. I was painting, I am still painting every individual stone, and that has taken a little bit of time. What I started off doing was painting the arch kind of supporting stones one colour. I then did the bottom of the kind of, I guess, the sides and the two pillars, the bottom of that a darker brown. I then did a kind of a whiter section, a beige section in the middle, and then I did this sort of a golden colour, goldeny yellow colour on the top. I then went back and mixed some of basically the beige with the golden yellow, and kind of tried to blend that together. And I did the same with the beige and the brown, and I worked that in, and that probably took 4 or 5 hours just to do that. And now I have even more admiration for Andy Singleton, other than the fact he's given me some great advice to get this looking as it is. And I'll just give you a close-up here. So you can see the various levels, the brown here and the white here, and then the golden yellow up the top. But because of the technique that Andy told me and gave me, I really managed to blend that much better now. What I did was painted them, blended them as I said, went back over with the golden yellow to lighten up the top. I then did a very, very light, kind of light grey dry brush, very light dry brush, and then I've inked it with the Agrax Earthshade, the GW one I mentioned last week. So that's just the front. Now I've got some more work to do on the top and the other side. I've even started on that side with the brown. So that's kind of what it looks to start with, and then I do the white and I do the yellow. But anyway, that's what I'm hoping to get it like to a certain stage. I'm then actually going to put like a green kind of mossy dark colour on the bottom of the bit where, you know, moss is kind of getting in from the river and climbing up. So I'll do that. I might even do a little bit along the top, because obviously there's a lot of sun on the top, so maybe some vegetation growing on the top. But anyway, so that's kind of where I'm going to go from that, and then I'll probably put another wash over that as well, really to kind of give it that really weathered look. And I think I'm getting that. I think it's really coming along nicely. So once I finish painting, and I'm not guaranteeing I'm actually going to get that finished this week, especially if I've got the townhouse to work on, the town hall to work on as well. But if I can get it finished, then that would set me up next week to do the road, to get the cobblestone effect on that, and that's going to start to look really, really good. So so that's the progress I've made this week. I'm feeling really pleased about this. I feel like I'm really making good progress, although this is now sort of 4 weeks in. Essentially almost the month of July. Well, July is gone, we're into August now. So I hope that I can start to get these things wrapped up and finished, and then I can move on to pieces that are probably going to be quicker. So some of the river piece I'll do next, and the road pieces I'll do. And then I'm going to start knocking out these Belgian townhouses that hopefully, now I've got the technique with the town hall knocked out, then hopefully that technique will get me through really quickly with the rest of them. And then once really the terrain is done, then it's going to be on to painting the figures, and that will take quite some time, I should imagine. So I really would like to leave as many months as possible to get that done. But we will wait and see on that one. So anyway, I'm going to cut it there. Obviously, thanks again for all your support, and everybody who's commenting and liking and sharing and all the things that happens with that. A really big thank you for that. I will leave you now just to say, have a great rest of your week, or have a great week to come. And something a little bit different. We're going to go for a Marvel effect today, so you'll be wanting to stay on after the credits. Thank you very much. And you have a great week gaming and hobbying and doing whatever you're doing. And we'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.